Alright, a little update here on the Derp ATV. Got things kind of dry fitted right now. Definitely see the Sherp inspiration, because it is a bolt and weld Sherp. I went for more of a modular design than the Sherp because of, well, two reasons. A, commercial prospects. It allows me to change stuff a lot easier. For example, if a customer wants it specified as a long wheelbase unit for more hilly terrain, it makes it a lot easier to change 3 parts instead of like one big single frame part or all 5 parts. The other reason was it allowed me to do a lot of these sub-weldments in the climate controlled shop over there. So of course, if you got a small shop like me, you can kind of burn these off in a nice secluded lean-to type of deal like that. And then bring everything out, say, during more temperate climates, like in the spring and summer, if you're in the Midwest, and bolt it and do the final weld. One issue I had during the fit-up process was I'm getting some gaps right here, which is because I didn't design any clearances between these two sheets. So that's something I'll have to change in the future. But you can see how tight of a fit it is, which is good, but unfortunately it's too tight. So yeah, once I do get this thing corrected for squareness, because right now corner to corner I'm off 3/4 of an inch. It's actually parallel, pretty much damn near perfect. It's just I gotta correct the squareness. But yeah, once it's bolted, just do seam weld all the way down the sides and the bottom. Another change I'll do is I'll just get rid of these weld nuts. It makes it a lot bigger pain in the ass than it should be. Just keep it as a through hole with a separate nut on the other end. Just keep it simple. It makes it a lot easier to assemble, that's for sure. Still working on the belly plate there. I got the sheeting kind of all cut up and I got my tubes cut. So, yep, I got that. That's going to be your structural tubing, and then that's also going to carry the exhaust gases kind of like on the Sherp to the wheel ends to inflate and deflate the tires as needed. Oil bath chain boxes, like I stated before, you know, typical construction grade stuff like they use on skid loaders and motor graders. My main intention is to just not touch the final drive for 1,500 hours. That's my goal. The front section's got your typical Sherp, you know, axis way. The lower panel, I might reinforce it more. I don't know yet. We'll see. I do have this nice box section here on the front to kind of give it that rigidity. And I got a rib on the bottom as well. There'll definitely have to be a false bottom floor because the driver's seat's actually going to be another 4 or 5 inches higher than this in order to allow your arm to hang on the fender there. But yeah, like the rear section that you saw back there, there was 2 box sections on each side to act as a major frame rail. So on the driver's side is actually an empty section. My controls for my steering laterals will kind of slip right in here. And then of course this is what you see right here. And then these right here are mounting bolts for my servo controls for the Honda axle. And then on the passenger side is another integral fuel tank, kind of like on the rears back there. We'll get to that later. This is a 7-gallon tank. So this is what I call an auxiliary tank, I guess. I got 7 gallons here. And I got pretty much all these kind of taped up with foil tape right now just to protect water from getting in there. Because it is a fuel tank, it's got to be kept clean. But yeah, these are where all my plumbing fittings will go. I got to get a couple of weld bungs in there. Really, the only thing I think I'm going to add, I was thinking about my bumper design here. I think I'm just going to make it a hard nose is what I'm going to do. I thought about like the Sherp where they kind of have an extension that goes off of it so you can tie ropes and shit on it. But at the end of the day, I think I want to keep it cleaner looking. And I'll just kind of cut a notch through this tubing here and then just splice it over this frame corner. Plus, then I could put my recovery points basically directly on my frame rail, so that way when you're pulling, you know, you're going directly through the line of action on the frame. Same thing goes for the other side here. Moving on to the rear section. Once again, 2 integral frame tanks. These are 8 gallons apiece, so that's 16 gallons, bringing it up to 23 gallons total of in-frame fuel storage. The reasoning I did that was to save space mostly. I mean, really the one drawback is, of course, if your tank rusts out or something, then it's actually structurally critical. But if it ever does come to that point, I think you'll have worse issues because it is an amphibious vehicle after all. So if you do have any hole penetration, then, well, you're going to be leaking water, which means you're going to have a bigger bilge pump. Back here, I kind of got a reinforcement channel. And then all these bolts and nuts, weld nuts that you're seeing is actually kind of my concept of a power pack system, kind of like on an Abrams tank or pretty much any modern main battle tank, where they have the engine, transmission, and steering unit all one frame pack. So that way if you ever need to do servicing, like an in-depth service, instead of having to pull like a cab or something like on a F-250 or pretty much any 3/4 ton truck, all you have to do is just loosen a couple bolts, unhook the hosing and the wiring, and then you can slide out the whole module, unbolt all these, drop the access panel, and then hopefully get a cherry picker in there and slide her out. That's the theory, at least. We'll see how that turns out. Down here, trailer mounting plate, and then of course I got my hinge plates down there as well. So I just got to get some PTO pins to hook up in there. And then of course this will be RTV'd during a final assembly. So it's nice and sealed up. But it's coming together. Yeah, like I said, it's going to have a false bottom floor, because my arm's probably going to be up here where the fender is, which is no good. But that's alright, I need some clearance anyways between my ass and the chain box. But yeah, it's going to be quite the machine.